Alright, new updates about to roll in. That means it's time to go over who you should summon and who to skip. As usual, I'm gonna go over the reruns first. For the first week, we have Fatum Sisters and Archibald. I'm gonna go over Archibald first. He is only being used in Calamity Tower for the Howling Pillar. He's pretty decent here, but that's pretty much the only place that you can really use him. In PvP, he has fallen off considerably because Mavis isn't really meta-defining anymore. So the combo between him and Mavis is not really doing that well. The only place that you're going to find him useful is in the Wind Tower, and that's about it. And also, none of his resonance matter for that tower as well, because you're only going to be bringing him for this one swing debuff. That's pretty much it. So Archibald is 100% a skip. Alright, for the Fatum Sisters, their R2 is actually pretty decent, which now allows them to revive with their S2. Now, why this is significant is because in Sonica, the best strategy to go for is going to be this team. You don't have a cleanser per turn, but because the Fatum Sisters can revive, what ends up happening is when your units die and get revived, they will remove the Sonica debuff on them. Right, he's gonna die right here, he dies, and then my Fatum Sisters revive him, and he no longer have the debuff on him. So from this point on, you don't need to cleanse him for him to stay alive, because he will not take any damage from Sonica's debuff anymore. So this is the reason why R2 Fatum Sisters is relevant, but that's pretty much the only extent of her R2 usage in PvE. So in my opinion, for the Fatum Sisters, you only go for the R2 if you have above 800 wish stones. Otherwise, you can completely skip them. Their R6 is pretty decent, like I said, but it's not really worth it. Now for week 2, we're gonna have a rerun for Hilda and Fumitsuki. Unfortunately, both of them has pretty much been out of meta in PvE. Hilda is only being used in Surging Pillar Tower, and that's pretty much it. She was good in False Auto Fantasy for Phobiter, but now you don't even run Hilda for the meta comp. You're removing Hilda for Iki now. Or if you don't want to run a Hilda, you can even run a Joser, which does about the same as what you would get from Hilda in Phobiter. So even in Phobiter, Hilda has not been used as much, and in PvP, Hilda also fell off really hard, right, because of Wu Yu and stuff. And also, current Espers in the meta right now, they just don't care about debuffs anymore. They can't be slapped like Suizai. Iki does not even care if he's asleep or not. Wu Yu can't be debuffed. A lot of Espers nowadays just don't care about Hilda's debuff anymore. Fumitsuki is also another unit that you only use in towers, and that's pretty much it. She does not have any use for any of the other content in PvE. And in PvP, like, there are some teams that can make her work, but it's really a stretch. So for week 2, Hilda and Fumitsuki, you're going to be skipping both of them. They are only being used in towers, and they can also be replaced as well. Now for week 3, we have Ollie and Hyde. Obviously, Hyde is going to be 100% a skip. He has no place in this game at all. In PvP, he used to be the king. Now he's been power crept by every single new release, so not worth it at all to summon for this guy. Now for Ollie, this guy is a must summon if you want to focus on Chronos. And the reason why he is a must summon if you want to focus on Chronos is because of his S3 providing you with the defense down. By allowing one of your allies to die, he will then save the ally and proc his S3, which will then proc you a defense break, and then proc a counter on your Sloan, which can then give you 3 turns on Chronos, which is the fastest that you can go, right? Again, keep in mind, you don't need any of his resonance for this to work, but R3 and R5 does help if you lack a little bit of damage. Outside of Chronos, he has no use at all. He won't work for any of these bosses, nor for the shadow bosses. He doesn't work in False Auto Fantasy. He's a single target, so he's not going to be good for the towers as well. But in PvP, you can run him in the Mavis comp, just to make sure that your Mavis can survive a nuke from Murayama. So once again, week 3, you're going to be skipping Hyde, and then only go for Ollie if you want to focus on Chronos. And you only need him to be at R0. Now for the main unit, Khonsu, he's going to be a support, but he's built as a DPS, and he's all about single target revives. But before you summon for him, you need to know some stuff about him and how he works. Now Khonsu can give you unlimited S3, but only when you cast his S2 instead of S3 first. And when you play him on auto, he will cast his S3 instead of his S2. So if you play him on auto, he will not get the S3 cycle off quickly. And you can only get the permanent S3 cycle going if you have him at R6. Anything lower than R6 will not work, because he does not get the Omnipotent Elixir to himself whenever he grants an ally the Omnipotent Elixir. Another important thing you should know about him is that the Elixir Search is not as good as you think. It resets the ability cooldown of your ally, but only if the ally can cast the S3 to begin with. So for example, I'm going to use Sakura's S3, and now I'm going to give her the Elixir Search buff. Okay, now Sakura has Elixir Search, but I still cannot cast her S3, because the way that you can reset the S3 is you need to use the S3 and then it will reset the cooldown. So instead, this is how the workaround for the Elixir Search. You need to give the Elixir Search first to Sakura. She still doesn't have it. She has the Omnipotent Elixir right now. And then boom, now she has the Elixir Search. So boom, you cast the S3. She resets her cooldown. There we go. She has the S3 again. So for the Elixir Search, think of it like having 2 charges for your S3 on your ally instead of resetting it whenever you have the buff. And in a real game scenario, you unfortunately might not even see this elixir search once, because when you run a 5-man team, what ends up happening is you need to give this omnipotent elixir to all of your allies before you start giving one of your ally the elixir search. Because of how the S2 works, right? It will target the ally that does not have the omnipotent elixir. So if you have a 5-man team, you will have to go through one by one of your allies, give them omnipotent elixir, and then it will randomly choose between one of your 5 allies to give them the elixir search. So you most likely will not see your allies S3 cooldown be reset at all in a real game scenario, because you're going to be running either 5 or 6-man teams, right? And even if they do get it, they don't reset their S3 immediately. They need to get this off cooldown first, cast it, and then they can cast it again. So right now Clara has 1, and Ginny used up her elixir search, and she has the S3 back up again. So Clara gets a turn, S3, and she has the S3 again. And she also got the elixir search once again, because again, it's random, right? You don't know where the elixir search is going to go once all of your allies have the omnipotent elixir buff on them. So that's all the stuff you need to know on Khonsu. That being said, I think he's going to be a skip. He's not really that good in my opinion. In PvE, he's not good because of his randomness, and also the fact that you need to go through all of your teammates to give this omnipotent elixir first before you can start giving elixir search makes him really bad for turn cycling. In PvE, I think he's going to have a total of 0 use. I don't think it's going to be good. In PvP, however, I think his R6 can be decent but not meta, because when you have him at R6, he's going to be spamming his S3, which means he's going to be prone to Suizai, he's going to be very prone to Wu Yu, and because he casts the omnipotent elixir whenever he casts his S3, he's also going to be prone to Momo as well. So in PvP, he's going to get countered to hell. And he's also built as a pure DPS in the rival rune content, which means one counter from Wu Yu, Suizai, Momo will most likely kill this guy. Even though at R6 he gives himself a revive every single time he S3 or S2, that's not gonna matter when he just gets one shot, right? In my opinion, Khonsu is going to be a skip. You're much better off saving for next patch, which is anniversary patch, rather than summoning for Khonsu. And yeah, that's about it. Ciao.